Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, this literally does not work. Well, we are sitting here. It is the eve of rookie training camp. Oh my God, or mini camp. I should say training camp, mini camp. Um, I love my music, but let me go ahead and kill it. Still working on getting everything balanced out here, still getting everything done with the set right here, so bear with me as we go through our ups and downs with broke ass media. One of the things that definitely hurt us last year was not having the rookie mini camps, as well as the OTAs, because the NFL, everything is sped up so quickly. There's such a learning curve that you have for the players, and you want to be able to make sure you can hit the ground running with your players, because it's going to be important for our players to really do well, because our team, coming from being a veteran team and getting rid of a lot of guys from Tyrone Crawford and Sean Lee's, that now we're going to need these younger guys to really step in and play a key role. Most people don't think that our six rookies that we drafted are going to have much of an impact on our defense. I, for one, think actually they will. So, come tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, they will be getting blitzed with all kinds of information. Now, the players themselves, they started arriving in Dallas yesterday. They got their physicals. We've already gone through, and they're getting everybody signed for their contracts and stuff. There's no big deals like it used to be, where the contracts are basically slotted. There's not really much to negotiate. Here's what you're getting because of where you were picked, and this is what you're getting paid. Go ahead and sign it, and that's it. Sam Bradford was the last of the negotiated contracts, and boy, was his a big one, 50-some million dollars, and boy, was that money down the drain. But they have already come to agreement with wide receiver Simi. I can't pronounce his last name. Also with Quentin Bohannon, Israel, and the guard center Matt Fornick. So they're getting those deals and stuff done and in place. Now here's the thing. I'm sitting here with the Dallas Cowboys and thinking about how we're going to be able to improve. Now here's the thing with the defense. It's going to be young. When you're young, one, you're fearless. Things that I did when I was 20 years old, I would be like, what are you doing? As you get older, you get kind of scared. You worry about your own mortality. When you're young, you throw caution in the wind. When you're young, you're a lot quicker than you used to be. But you don't necessarily know all the things that you know as an older person. I wish I knew back then what I know now. If I could combine my knowledge with my ability back then, oh my God, it would have been night and day different. So you are Dan Quinn. You are the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. You have a bunch of young pups that are out there. In my mind, what you want to do as a defensive coordinator is, when you think about last year, when you heard Jalen Smith and other players talking about it's too hard, it's too complex, and literally being lost. And as I looked through, this hit me earlier today, when I started looking through and thinking about the quarterbacks that we're facing. We got Ryan Fitzpatrick twice, we got Daniel Jones twice, we got Jalen Hurts twice, we got Sam Darnold, we got Teddy Bridgewater, Derek Carr, Jameis Winston, Cam Newton, Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Kirk frickin' Cousins, Matt Ryan, Kyler Murray, and Justin Hubert. If you are Dan Quinn, and I'm not Dan Quinn, I'm not, and I'm not telling him what he should do because, quite frankly, he wouldn't listen to me. But as the defensive coordinator and looking at the list of quarterbacks there, I am looking for the immediate good feeling moves. I am looking for making my guys feel great about what they're doing. I am looking for them not to feel overwhelmed. And one of the things you can do is basically simplify a defense sometimes using more blitzes. What I hated personally when I played nose guard, I was small. I was about 220 pounds, although, there weren't many 300-pound guys back in my day. There weren't. I mean, we're talking about the 80s. Dave Butts was like one of the first 300-pound players. Now everybody's 300 pounds. So guys were a lot smaller back then. It's kind of like my red brick house. If you go to the front door is literally 6 foot tall. That's it. 6 foot tall. Because 200 years ago, people were smaller. Now they're a lot bigger. We were a read and react defense, and I hated that because what I had to do was get my hands on the center, okay? Get my hands on there and try and fight pressure. Feel which way the center is trying to take you and fight against it, which means you were kind of a step behind him trying to wheel his hips around and turn you. You feel that, now you got to go ahead and you got to have the strength in your arm to keep that shoulder up and then fight pressure and get past him because that's going to lead you to the ball. What worked good for me, which I loved more, was here is your spot. You're blitzing. On that first step, as soon as that ball moves, you're stepping into the gap between the guard and the center. Okay? Boom, you're stepping in there, you're getting past the guy, you're not reading, you're not thinking. When that only thing you've got in your head is, I'm going to that point. Okay, that's the first thing. It simplifies it. There's no confusion. You know on that defense, that's where I'm going before the ball snapped. Simplifies it. Second thing is, when you're facing Daniel Jones or Jalen Hurts or Sam Darnold, you want to put pressure on these guys. You want them to not feel comfortable. So by blitzing, everybody knows where they're going. They're not reading. This is your spots. And I would blitz the hell out of a lot of these quarterbacks. Now, Derek Carr is actually pretty good against the blitz. Ryan Fitzpatrick is actually not bad against the blitz. So you got to be careful and pick and choose. Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, you don't want to blitz them too much. They will pick you apart. But some of these young guys, especially as you go early in the season, you want to get after them, and you definitely want to take the fight to them and make them uncomfortable. The other thing, I remember my first JV game, and I think it was against Fork Union, I want to say. And I played scout team my rookie year. I'm not trying to say I was a star because I was not. I played special teams and so on, and scout team, okay? But in that JV game, what our defensive coach wanted me to do was, on the first play, knock the crap out of the center. Don't worry about tackling. Don't worry about a gap. Don't worry about anything. All I want you to do is literally take everything you have and hit the crap out of the center. And that's what I did the first play. I literally, boom. From that moment on, from that play forward, I owned that center. In the first quarter, they brought in another guy. Owned his ass too. I could literally go ahead, do a jab step and rip and go right past him. Literally, the quarterback is handing off, and I'm in the quarterback's back pocket and meeting him with the carrier. And see, this is where you can take the opportunity with these young guys where they're not having to think. They're just being Nathaniel. You're just being physical. And after they start getting this under your belt, then you start bringing on a little bit more. Then you start mixing it up more, okay? Then you start getting to your coverages. Because what this will do, because we're going to have a young secondary, what this will do, putting that extra pressure will make those quarterbacks feel uncomfortable and have to pass that ball quicker, which means that your cornerbacks, your new safeties, all of these young players, your linebackers and things, aren't going to have to cover as much. And if I were Dan Quinn, that's what I would be looking to do, is definitely taking the pressure to these quarterbacks, because I'll be honest with you, we got a whole lot of stiff quarterbacks. And if we can own that line of scrimmage, if we can own that middle of the field, if we can put pressure on them, we will rule the day and we will win the battle of takeaways. All right, y'all. You know the deal. It's time for Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. I wish.